Hello, change makers all over the world, across the African continent. We welcome you to yet another amazing super edition of the IHA Social Impact webinar. So, type in the comment section. We would love to read from you where you're joining us from any part of the world. I am Toyin Banjo, the program director at Ideation of Africa, and it's with great delight that I welcome you to this great, amazing edition of the Social Impact webinar. So we excitedly want to read from every of our community members joined in tonight. Let us know where you're joining us from. Just type in the comment section. Let us know your name, what you do, your organization, and the area or country where you're joining us from. Our guest mentor is with us in the studio already, and she's excited to really dive into today's topic, which is building donor management and retention strategies, building sustainable donor management and retention strategies. So we excitedly want to read from each of you. Type in the comment section, and we will take your location excitedly. All right. In another 2 minutes, we'll get right into today's webinar. So I can see that so many people are tuned in already. All right. I can see Abimbola Adegboyega. She's joining us from the broadcasting service of Ekiti State. Thank you so much, Abimbola. We're so super excited to have you tuned in. So at this juncture, I would really call on each of you to get the poster, get the announcements, and push them into your spheres of influence. Alert your friends, alert your colleagues, get them on board, let them know that the social impact webinar is live so that you're tuned in as soon as possible. Yes, change makers and social innovators across the world. We're super excited to have each of you on board. All right. So I want to read from one more or two persons. Just type in the comment section where you're joining us from. We have Abimbola Adegboyega here with us from Ekiti State. And I know there are many of our change makers, many of our community members tuned in from different part of the world, different part of Africa, and would excitedly want to read from you. All right. So we move on quickly. I would bring on board our guest mentor, Dr. Omotola Akinsola. But right before I get her on board, I would want to just introduce her. But nonetheless, let's have her in the live webinar. She's already in the studio, so let me have her come on board. So, Dr. Motola, are you ready for us? Hello, Dr. Motola.
Hi, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Great to
Good
be here.
evening. Thank you so much, Dr. Motola. Thank you for
Thank you for
making
having
out
me.
time from your very busy schedule. We don't take this for granted in any way.
It's my
Thank you.
absolute pleasure.
All right. So, Dr. Motola, Nigerian by birth, a global citizen by destiny. Dr. Omotola the Great, as she's fondly called, is a social worker by training, a social good engineer by choice. She has a zeal for creating and designing programs and systems that work for the greater and common good of society. Dr. Murtala the Great is passionate about entrepreneurship education, social work education, nonprofit development and management, personal and professional development, and youth development. She's a social impact strategist that specializes in nonprofit funding, a grant writer, and a personal development trainer. She's secured over $1.3 million for nonprofit organizations across the world. She holds a PhD in social work, two master's degree in education psychology and social work specializing in social enterprise development and management, and a bachelor's in social work with a double minor in leadership studies and psychology from Columbia College. She has a certificate in leadership development and training from Columbia College, a certificate in social entrepreneurship from George Warren Brown School of Social Work at Washington University in St. Louis, two certificates in sustainable business strategy and entrepreneurship essentials from Harvard Online Business School, two certificates in grant writing from grant writing and funding. Dr. Motola is a social work professor, teaching interviewing and counseling skills, intro to social work, senior seminar at University in Minnesota. Dr. Motola is a John Maxwell theme coach, trainer, speaker, and DIC specialist. She's featured on Forbes, UNICEF, and grant writing and funding podcast, and has won local, national, and international awards for her work in the social impact sector. She's a highly sought after international speaker and trainer. She has guest lectured at the University of Colorado, Boulder, Columbia College, Southern Illinois University, Cabell, Ohio University. She has won numerous awards and fellowships, some of which include being a Congressional Fellow, Starting Block Fellow, Social Innovation Fellow, 30 Under 30 Award, and Watson Scholar. Dr. Motola is the lead consultant at the Funding Magnet, which was established in 2020. The Funding Magnet is a full service coaching and consulting firm that works with individuals and nonprofits passionate about social impact to develop and manage their organization structure, processes, and systems. They prepare, propel, position, and power nonprofit founders to build or run profitable and sustainable organizations or programs that exponentially multiplies their impact, influence, and potential to create lasting change in the world. The Funder Magnet coaches, educates, and trains clients on how to go from self-funding to fully funded. We strongly believe you can make the Funder Magnet strongly believes that you can make a living while making a difference. And that's why they work with clients to create diverse funding streams to create predictable, recurring income so you can scale your impact and change more lives. Dr. Motola the Great, as she's fondly called, has trained over 10,000 social impact makers to start, build, and expand their projects, programs, and organizations in over 45 countries online and offline. She has helped generate over $1.3 in funding for social impact. Once again, without further ado, we welcome on board Dr. Omotola Akinsola. Welcome on board, Dr. Omotola.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here and thank you for the opportunity and the invitation as well. I'm hoping that we're going to have a good time and I'm happy to also answer questions. So please, while I'm having the training part of this, any questions they have, they can start filing it in. And then once we're done with the training session part of it, then we can come back on board and then we can discuss how to answer those questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Motola. So just before I let Dr. Motola do a thing, we're going to start off with Dr. Motola walking us through a presentation, after which we'll move on to the second phase of tonight's webinar, which will be a question and answer forum. And we would have the opportunity to ask some of your questions that you drop with us live in here and some of the curated questions that have been shared by our community members. Just before I pass the baton to Dr. Motola, let me welcome our community members. I can see a lot of them tuned in already. I can see Alenza from Cape Town, South Africa. Welcome, Alenza. We were just chatting earlier in the day. I can also see Oluwatosin Ruth. Thank you so much. We're super excited to have you on board. Let us know where you're joining us from. Also, let us know the organization you work with. This is also a great networking opportunity. You can't say who is reading and who is, definitely tuned in at this time. Welcome on board, Pleasant Chica, as well. We're excited to have you on board. Over to you, Dr. Watala. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's get started. I hope you brought your books and pen because I really want this to be as practical as possible. Again, thank you for being a champion for good. Thank you for being a social savior. Thank you for being a change agent. I know that you could have chosen to do anything else with your life, but you chose to be part of this um, group that works in this industry in saving lives and changing lives for good and affecting the community for the better. And so I'll highly encourage you to please make sure that whatever we do today, you actually implement. Because I always like to start my training with the fact that knowledge is power. That's what we know. But the truth is, unapplied knowledge, it's not going to work. And so it's very important that we make sure that you apply the knowledge. Whatever you learn today, apply it. If you don't apply it, nothing is going to change for you. Nothing is going to change for your organization. So I highly encourage you to please implement, implement, implement. Don't just consume the knowledge. Figure out how it's going to be applicable to your own situation or to your own organization. Okay, with that said, now let's get into the slide. So again, welcome. You've heard about me, and again, I like to start to say, for me, beyond what Director Toyin has already shared about me, my life mission, whether it's on a personal, professional, business, training mode, is to be able to prepare, propel position, empower individuals like yourself or your organization to reach your highest potential. I believe that each and every one of us, we have infinite potential, and it is up to us to harness it and to bring out the best we can in ourselves and indirectly give that to the world as well. And so I'm hoping that through this training, your potential will be back. The potential of the organization will come out as well. And so let's go. Again, so this is the agenda. I like to start with the agenda that we have. And so, like we said, today's topic is about building sustainable donor management and retention strategies. And so I'll first go over why we fail or fall short when it comes to building a sustainable donor management system or retention strategies. Then I'll go over the key sustainable donor management. What is the key to that? And then also 5 principles of donor management, as well as the do's and don'ts of donor management, and as well as 5 ways to retain your donor. And then there is a research that I've shared with the organizers, and then they can share that with you how to create or build your stewardship plan to ensure that you can actually implement this in your own organization or your project as well. And then after that, we're going to jump into the question and answer session as well. Okay, so the first thing is, why do we fail? Why do we fall short? And so based on my experience and over 10 years working in this industry, in the social enterprise nonprofit field, one of the 3 things that I've seen as to why we fail and we fall short when it comes to donor management is lack of planning. A lot of us, we don't plan. There's this adage that says to fail to plan is to prepare to fail. That is true. That is absolutely true. And I'll never get tired of telling you and myself that if you don't plan to if you don't prepare for what you want, you're going to fail at it. And another thing, another quote I love is what they said, POUR. That POUR stands for passing over opportunity repeatedly. And if we don't plan, that's why we stay poor. So when it comes to poor donor management, when it comes to poor funding streams that you have, when it comes to poor management of your own personal life or your organization, it all goes back to your planning. If you were to be honest with yourself, did you plan well for it? And this is a great opportunity. I love that we're doing this right now, because starting tomorrow, and for some of you, it's already 2, 3, or 4 hours before it's tomorrow. We're starting a new month. We're starting a new half of the year. Like, so even if you've wasted the last 6 months, if it's not planned properly for it, this is the best time right now to plan better. And I know specifically we're focusing on your donor management and retention strategy, but I promise you it is applicable in every area of your life. Look and trace your results or your lack of results and think about it. Where you planned well, the areas where you planned well, the areas where you really took the time to plan your action step and you implemented it, were you more successful than when you did not plan? And so again, the same thing with your donor management and retention strategy. A lot of us were eager to do the work, do good to the community. We are eager to ask people for help, to support us, to donate, to volunteer their time. But one of the things that we don't plan for, one of the things that we don't do so well is donor management, donor retention. And so I'm hoping that by the end of today and our time together, you have the blueprint, you have the roadmap to actually do better and to plan better for this. So that's one thing. That's one of the reasons. When we don't plan, then that's why we have what the results we're getting. When we see, oh, this 20 people gave to us last month, but this month only 5 gave. Why? It's in your planning. Did you plan for them? Did you plan for the management of those donors? Did you plan for the retention of them? And most of the time, the answer is usually no for most nonprofits. And so I'm hoping that by the end of our time together, you are going to do better. You're going to know better and you're going to implement better as we go forward. Then the second thing is lack of system. So it's not just enough to plan. Just because you plan does not mean that, oh, everything is going to go well and then all will go smooth. If you don't have systems in place, whether that's technology wise or people, then things are going to fall apart. It's not enough to have just a plan, but you need systems, because without the systems, those plans are not going to work themselves. And so if your system is either inactive or not working or not set up properly, then you're still going to fail and fall short in your donor management and donor retention strategies that you want to implement. So it's not enough to plan. Planning is just one part of the equation. The second part of the equation is now building the right system. And we're going to talk about that. When I showed the agenda, I showed you how we're going to say, how are you going to build your plan? How are you going to build your system? And so you need a system. And again, a system can be whether individuals, it can be human beings, or it can be using technology, or the combination of both. And so don't get so worried when I say system. It can be as simple. And I'll show you how you can create a simple system for donor retention and donor management for your organization or your entity. Then the last but not the least is lack of data. A lot of us, we do not respect data. And because of our lack of respect for data, we keep falling short. So what do I mean by that? The truth of the matter is, as a change maker, as a social enterprise individual, you need data, because without data, you don't know whether you're doing good or not. And the quotes, again, I love quotes. So over time, you hear a lot of quotes across this conversation. Is like, an unexamined life is not worth living, right? So I have modified it to say an unexamined organization or project or entity is not worth running. So what do I mean by that? You need data. Last year, how many people gave to your organization? If I were to ask you, put it in the chat. Do you know the number of people that gave to your organization last year? Without having to look at your books, can you tell me, as the leader, as the person in charge of whatever division you are in your organization, do you know? Do you know what was your highest gift or the lowest amount that was given to you? Do you even know why people gave to you in the first place? Do you know where they are coming from? Do you know how they even found out about your organization, your entity? Do you know which of the pipelines of streams gave you the most money as an organization? So I'm still waiting in the chat. I want to see in the comment, can you, off the top, and if the answer is no, be truthful and say no. This is why we're here, to learn, to grow, to be better and do better. Because data matters. Because if you know what happened last year, if you know what happened last quarter, if you know what happened last month or even this month that we're ending, it can help you to better plan for the future. But a lot of us, we don't pay attention to the data. We're so eager to do first. And then because of that, we do, and then we don't have the structures in place. So think about it. When we're building a house, do they start building a house by painting and decorating? No, they start with the foundation. So the same thing with your organization. For you to be able to do the most good, for you to be able to save life, change life, transform community for good, the truth is, it starts with how well do you retain your donors? How well do you create donor management system? Because if you cannot retain your donors, guess what? You're not going to amplify your impact. You're not going to be able to leap forward. You're not going to be able to lead the community, lead the field when it comes to doing more good and changing more lives and transforming more life for the better. So it's very important that you have data and you track it. If there's something that I will push you to do for the rest of this year, track your data, know your numbers, understand what is going on, what has happened. How are you doing versus last year, versus last week, versus last month, versus last quarter? You need those data. And it's not just even your donor retention. Even when it comes to your impact, a lot of you do so much good, but you don't even know which of your program is the most effective or not because you do not have the data. And that's why when you go to potential funders or donors, you don't know what to say. You don't know how to appeal to them to want to invest in you without having to convince them over and over again. But I promise you, if you have the data in all of these areas, it's going to be easier to retain your donors. So you need data of your impact. I bet you, Hydration of Africa, they have data. They are one of the people that does data well, like this organization. And so you can learn a lot from them. But you need that data because when you start going to seeing potential funders, and that again, going back to that definition of poor, passing over opportunity repeatedly. The reason why most of us we've not been funded to the level that we can be is because we don't have data to back the good, our theory of change, what we're trying to do in the community. But once you start planning for it and start preparing for it and create systems to collect data, to analyze this, to figure out how does this make sense in the work we're trying to do, I promise you when opportunity comes, whether that's from funders, partners, sponsors, you're going to be ready for it. And then you'll be able to retain your donors as well. Once you have that data to show them, like, this is what we did. Because of this donation that you gave us, we were able to do this and that, and this is the impact we have. Guess what? They want to give you more because you were productive. You're productive with what they gave you initially. They want to give more to you. But if you cannot tell them what you did with what you had, then it's going to be difficult for them to want to support you and to even encourage you to keep doing the good that you know you can do. And so these are the three big reasons why I see a lot of social enterprise and nonprofit fail when it comes to being able to retain their donors and sustain that interest that they have in their organization. So hopefully, I hope you learned something from just this one slide. Now let's move into the major thing because I like to first start with the basics and build the background before we jump into the whole matter itself. And so on to why do donors stop giving? The truth is research has shown over and over again the number one reason why donors stop giving and why your retention might be down or low is over solicitation. And I'm going to explain that. This does not mean that you shouldn't ask. Yes, you should be asking for donors to give. But the thing is, there is a magical formula. There is a way, there's a give and take that must happen. You can just ask every time. You have to give something back to your donors. And that's where another reason why a lot of us fail when it comes to retention and in getting our donor management right. We are more likely to ask than to report back and to give back and to say thank you. And I'm going to show you why gratitude matters. And I'm going to show you some of the research that has come out of just saying thank you to your donors. So the reason why is because you don't tell them what happened after they gave to you. Like I said, a lot of us, we spend so much time in the programming, in the delivery, in the asking and prospecting for money. But once we get the money, a lot of us, we ghost our donors. And I'm sure a lot of you can testify to that. It has happened to me before when I started. Again, I said I've been in this field for over 10 years. So I have had my shares of ghosting that I've done to donors as well. So I'm speaking from experience. So I understand where you may be. Because if you're the only person, and which we can talk about later, then there may be a lot of things going on and a lot of things can fall on the wayside. But back to this point, the one reason why most people stop giving is because of over solicitation. And when we say over solicitation, we mean when all you do is ask, but you don't even tell them how they give the last gift they give, how did it help? How did they impact the community? How were you able to save life, change life? When you don't communicate with them, when you don't thank them to say thank you so much, why would they want to give to you again? You yourself put yourself in the position. I know a lot of us, we have families and friends that they'll ask us for something. They'll beg and beg that please give me this. And once you give it to them, we stop hearing from them till maybe 2 months, 3 months when they need something. How does that make you feel? Just as in your own personal relationship. Now think about how you're feeling. Now times 3 it for your donors. If you can feel bad that you did something for somebody, they gave you and they asked you for something, you gave it to them, then they never look back to even say thank you. But the only time you hear from them is when they need something else from you. How does that make you feel? You feel used, right? You don't feel like you're a partner. You don't feel as if you are part of making change happen in that process. And so that's exactly how our donors feel as well. When all we do is ask, 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 but we don't even take the time to nurture back the people that are giving to us so that we can expand our work, so that we can do more good in the society. So it's very critical and important that you must not just be willing to ask, ask, ask. You must be willing to have a relationship. And I'm going to talk about that, how you can make it more than a one night stand. A lot of us, we do one night stand with our donors. Once we get the money, we are out. And that should not be the way. That is one of the reasons, number one reason why we are not able to retain the donors that we need to have right now. Okay, moving on. So the biggest key when it comes to being able to have sustainable donor management is stewardship. Stewardship is the key. And I'm going to define stewardship later on. But right now, stewardship is the most important thing for you. It's not about getting new donors. A lot of us, we run and it's like we are chasing, shining object seniors. We think that the only way we can fund our impact is like when we get new donors, new sponsors. But the truth is, there is a lot of gold, there's a lot of diamond, there's a lot of good in those that have given to you before. But because you don't look at your data, you don't even collect data, you don't bother to thank them, you don't bother to nourish those relationships, what happens? You sort of like starve off that opportunity, that pipeline that could have been full with water, with drink, whatever it is. You starve it up because of lack of thank you, lack of reporting back. But if you can start working on creating a new culture where you steward your donors' rights, it's going to be a game changer for you. I want to promise you something. If you implement what you learned today and just for July, just do it well. Take the time. Look at the last 6 months, those have given to you. When was the last time you had a touch point with them? When was the last time you said thank you? When was the last time you updated them about what you're doing, where you are as an organization, whether you're meeting your goals or not? The goal, and I'm going to talk more about that. I promise you, if you can take the time to correct those things, you're going to see an increase in giving, an increase in an interest in the organization. And so stewardship is key. Without stewardship, you're going to stay, you're not going to grow as an organization. You're going to stay stunted as an entity without stewardship. So the key to being able to sustain and retain your donors is stewardship. And so we're going to dive in what is stewardship. So how do you steward your donors? Again, like I said, the reason why most people don't give is because of over solicitation. The circle of the way people do things is they ask, 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 ask. But this is the right circle. So if you look at this picture right here or this diagram, so yes, first ask. So the person will give to you, they feel good. But just because you asked and they gave, that doesn't mean the person really understood the impact of their giving or what their money is going to or what their in-kind donation, whatever it is going into. So the next step is thanking people. And a lot of us, we don't do that well. I don't want you to just send, and I've done it before, like I used to test people a lot. Like I give to different organizations, at least maybe 3 or 5 organizations every single month. I have a budget for giving. And so I test people. There are some people that I'll never ever give to again unless they change their ways. I hope they're here today. Just joking. But anyways, and then no thanking, nothing. Once, like I gave nothing. So it has happened to me too before. I've been on both sides of things. I've done it to people and people have done it to me. So this is just being transparent and like again, being real. Like I just want to be real with you because I promise you, if we can correct these little things, it's going to make a huge difference in our donation, in our funding, and being able to sustain our organization and maintain relationships already with those that have given to us in the past. So thanking them, take the time to thank them. You're not too busy. I don't care whatever the project is or something. You are not too busy. Within 24 to 48 hours, thank people. Don't let them be the one reminding you that did you get the money? Did you get the alert? No, some of us were so lazy. When we are asking for the money, we're there in people's face, in their inboxes, tagging them up and down. But once we get the money, silence. It's as if they cease to exist again. And that should not be the way. Within 24 to 48 hours, Make the time to thank them. If you cannot even send a text message or call, if it's just an email, if it's just an acknowledgement, thank you, I acknowledge the receipt of this, that can go a long way. Not that the person that gave to you will not be wondering, wait, did this person get the money or is it pending? And they're not even sure, but you have gotten it in the first place. But because you chose to prioritize other things, thinking that, oh, it's all, maybe because you think, oh, the gift is too little, it doesn't matter. It matters, and we're going to talk about that. So you need to take the time within 24 to 48 hours, drop whatever it is. Like again, that is a system. If you're using technology, if you already have an online giving process, part of your back end is to already create a thank you template that once the money it leaves the bank or leave the card of whoever gave to you, within a few minutes they get an automatic thank you. You don't even have to personalize. It can just be thank you so much. We acknowledge the receipt of this $5 or $20 or whatever it is in your currency. So thanking people within 24 to 48 hours can help you and would really jumpstart you in being able to retain your donors. Don't wait until a week after. It's already like there's too much time between. Like the person will already make up their mind. They already have an attitude about your organization. This person is not serious. This person, they don't even care. This person, I'll never give to them again. Because I want you to think about, put yourself in the place. You give somebody something, whether it's an entity, whether it's an organization. How will you feel that you just were not acknowledged? So it's very important that you thank people. It matters. Thank you can make a whole lot of difference for you. Then it's not just enough for you to thank them. Some of us, we stop there. We just thank people and we say, you know what, okay, we thank them, then that is it. Mm-mm. The way that you can get them to love you, because they could have chosen to give to any other organization. See, there are millions of organizations across the world. Check your own city, your state. At least there'll be over 1,000 nonprofits or people that are trying to do good. So for them to pick your organization, to pick your project above every other one in that moment in time to give to your own, it means something. So don't just take it lightly and say, okay, well, I thank them, that is it. No. For them to be people that will give over and over again, that will come to know, like, and trust your organization and be a fan of your organization and be rooting for you and feel as if they are partners in progress with you to change the life of the community that you're part of, you have to report back to them. It's not enough for you to thank them, but tell them maybe a month after, 2 weeks after, just to carry them along. Oh, thank you so much. I know you gave to us 2 weeks ago or a month ago. We just want to update you. We are currently here. We're 50% done with this project. We're 100%, or even if you add challenges along the way, share. And we're going to talk about transparency. Don't be afraid to share. You see, this is what we're doing. We thought this, but this is it. Things have changed. Economy, inflation, life can happen. But if you don't take that time to report back, in terms of them giving, even if you thank them, even now come back a month after, they say, give more to us. They're like, wait, after I gave, yes, I got a thank you, but wait, did I did I even know what happened after? What did my money do? How did I really make a difference? So it is your job, it is your responsibility to report back to say, this is how we are doing. Thank you so much. This is what we've done. This is where we are. This is where we are going. Then after you've done the thank you and the reporting, then that is when you should have the guts to now ask for more money to do more good. And guess what? They will be happy to open their pocket and give more to you. But if you miss any of these steps and you're just doing ask, you're not taking the time to thank them, you're not taking the time to report back, guess what? They will see your request and they'll just ignore. They will even mute you. Like, people can mute on WhatsApp, on messages, even email. They will just delete. Once they see your email, delete, or you go automatically to their spam. But for them to treat you specially, for you and your organization to hold a special place in their act, you have to do this circle. You must ask, you must thank, and then after thanking, report. Don't just stop at thanking. Report back to your organization. Report back to the people that have supported you, your donors, your funders, your sponsors, because it carries them along. It makes them feel good. It makes them, they might even be having a bad day. By getting your reports, they were like, oh, actually, they might be feeling like I'm not doing enough to serve the world. I'm not, because maybe they don't have the time to run a nonprofit. They don't have the time to do a project. But because they're giving to your organization, they feel like, okay, at least I'm doing something. But so you don't know how you can make their day. You don't, and that is the truth, because life happens. People have different issues and challenges. But maybe hearing that report from you, seeing the smile on that child's face, seeing the smile on that mother's face, whatever it is, the impact that you did can make a difference for them, can make them feel better. And guess what? It enables them to want to give more to you, to want to support you. Say, wow, if my $5, if my $10, if my 10 cents, my 10 cedis, my 10,000 naira can go this way, imagine I give more. They want to give more to your organization. But if you miss any of these steps, then the chance of getting them to give again is going to reduce and it's going to be very, very slim. Okay, let's move on. So I want you to answer this question. When was the last time you reported back to your donor regarding the impact of their gift? And I'm already laughing because I bet whether you're watching this live or later, your answer will be like, let me know. I'm not sure. Let me think about it. But if you're here, please tell us. Well, if you can, don't be shy. We're here. We're all ready. We are in a safe space. When was the last time you actually, beyond just the thank you? Because we already touched the thank you. Some of us do it, some of us don't do it. But this reporting back, a lot of us, we need to do better on this. We need to do better on it. So are you guilty? Go and sin no more. Okay? Now that you know better, go and do better. So do not forget these things. These simple things, but I promise you, they can make a huge difference in terms of the results you're going to get and how you get more donors and keep them as you go forward. Okay? All right. So the truth is, stewardship matters. And research has shown over and over again that more than 80% of donors says that they were never told the outcome of their gift. So that was why I knew the answer to the question I asked. That majority of us, we hardly do this reporting back. We hardly do this reporting back. But guess what? Imagine 80% of donors, they're saying that no, but they don't know the outcome of their gift. If they don't know the outcome of their gift, do you think they want to give back to you? Do you think they want to give? Because they don't know whether or not you wasted their money. They don't know whether or not you did what you said you were going to do with the money that they gave to you. You didn't tell them. Maybe you were doing a campaign for help us to sponsor 20 children to have school library or school shoes or something. But you didn't tell them whether or not you reached the 20 or you helped 20 or 10. You didn't show pictures or proof of what you did with the money. The confidence is not there for them to give to you again. So guess what? That's 80% of your donors that are like, I'm not giving to this organization again. I gave them, that was a test run, and they proved me right because they didn't tell me whether or not they're doing things the right way or not. I don't know. There's no way for me to know whether or not they use the money for good or whether it's impacted them in a good way or not. So let us get these 80% of donors back because we need them. That is the truth. You yourself, no matter how such you're a millionaire, a billionaire, you cannot do it all. And a real life example is Bill Gates, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Even though Bill Gates is known as a big billionaire, and guess what? He still gets friends. He still gets people to donate to his foundation. He still got Warren Buffett to give because no matter the amount of money that he had in this world, the problem, the magnitude of the problem, and the solution that they are trying to bring about, the money is not enough to solve everything that the world needs. So you will always need partners. You will always need people to come alongside with you. So how you treat them matters. Do you think if Bill Gates did not report back to Warren Buffett, do you think Warren Buffett will keep giving to him? Warren Buffett has given millions of money to the Bill Gates Foundation. Why does he keep giving back? Report back. I've seen different documentaries or like where they report back. They report back. So even if Bill Gates can report back to Warren Buffett, you don't have any excuse. You don't have any excuse. So your own money can go far, but for it to go further, for you to really be able to maximize your impact, you need to be able to report back and let the donor know the impact of their work, the outcome of the gift they're giving to you. Okay, moving on. So now we're going to jump to the 5 principles of donor management. So how are we going to be able to manage our donors and do this right? Number one is to know that stewardship is a process. You're not going to get it right overnight. But if you can start the earlier you start the process, the better. So you need a plan, you need a system in place. We talked about that in the beginning. Whether it is technology, whether it's human being, whether it's a combination of both, you need that. And I'm going to make it practical as we go further. But you need to have a plan in place. When somebody gives to my organization, irrespective of the amount, what happens next? A lot of us, we don't plan for that. So that's why we mishandle everything and then our donors have a terrible experience. Think about it, even for for-profit organization. Let's say you bought something from Ideation of Africa, and then after you paid for and then you got your receipt, they didn't deliver the product to you. How are you going to feel? That's exactly how we are treating our donors. Just because we are not for profit does not mean that we should not do the right thing or follow the right principle. So again, run your enterprise as if it's a business. Use the proper principle. If somebody does this, give them something back in return. Show them that this is what it is going towards. Okay, so have a plan in place. Create a plan. You need a plan for your. It's not just a plan for your program alone. You need a plan for your stewarding the donors that you have and the ones that are going to come in the future. You need a plan in place. So part of a plan is as simple as what happens when somebody gives to us. Let's say they give online and then you have an automatic system that says thank you. Then after the thank you, maybe the next day they get a receipt. Another thing that a lot of us don't do is we don't send receipts to our donors. Yes, a lot of them may not care about it, but that's another thing that will give you an edge over every other non-profit in the world. Showing them that, and we talk about that in transparency. This is the receipt. Thank you. We acknowledge this. Keep this for your own record. Like that can be another thing that will just wow your donors, because a lot of the time, most people do not do that. They don't take that extra effort to be extraordinary, to show their donors that we mean business. We are here for the long run. We are going to treat you right. We believe you're partners for good with us, and we're going to take you serious. We're not just going to be here to just take your money and then that is the end of it. We're going to be accountable to you because you matter to us in being able to make the change that we're trying to make happen. So you need a plan in place. You need a system in place. Without it, you are going to keep repeating the same cycle and you're going to taste content and your organization is not going to grow. Okay. The second thing is communication, communication, communication. So it's not enough. Your plan, you have to communicate with your donor. So beyond just thank you, again, reporting, sending our receipts, and we're going to share different ways that you can keep up these communications as we go forward. It's about relationship building. So beyond just asking them to give, beyond just thanking them, another part of it is to get to know your donors. What makes them tick? Why did they even give to you? Again, they could have chosen to give to every other organization in the world, but they chose your organization. They chose your entity. What drew them to you? You need those data, because guess what? Maybe it was just a picture, a video, like a word that you said on your website or your social media page or campaign page that made the difference. Or maybe somebody else vouched for you. It was referred by somebody else. You need to know this information. You need to have this opportunity to say, tell us, why did you choose us? Why did you follow us? Why do you volunteer with us? Why do you give to us? Knowing those things will help you, because that way it also helps you to know what do you need to do more of. If you're looking at those data that you're collecting, if through your communication you have some 10 donors that the reason why they gave to you was because of the video or maybe because of the what you said, guess what? Maybe any other thing you're doing, you may need to stop them and do better with that thing. If it's the video, how can you optimize your video better? If it's the writing, how can you make it better so that it will get more people, inspire more people to give? So you need to understand why. And without communication, without asking beyond just money, you're not going to build a relationship. And then it will be a one night stand, and then you never know where you're going to hear back from them again, and when you're going to hear back from them as well as you go forward. So it's all about relationship building. Then number 3, it also means transparency. Being able to take care of your donors, sustain them, it's all about transparency. Again, I talk about the issue of receipts. A lot of us were guilty of that. We don't give receipts back to our donors. We just think, well, they gave. They know that I'm a non-profit. No, we are the one that gives the non-profit a bad name, or they keep saying that it's the third sector or it's a sector that is not significant, even though there are millions of non-profits across the world. Yet our power is still not felt yet. Why? Because we are not taking it seriously. We think that because we're non-profit, then we should do things anyhow. No. If you keep doing things anyhow, you're going to stay the same. You're going to go down, not go up. And our goal is to go up. So doing the proper things, setting up the proper processes, having receipts in place, whether or not it's written out by hand or it's generated by computer or you type it out yourself, whatever way, manually, automatically, human being creation, or create a receipt. Transparency to say thank you. We're not going to say that you donated 5,000 and we only recorded 2,000. Like, keep this for your record. So if ever we need to do an audit, we know that we are balanced. We can be proud of what we've done. So that's one aspect of transparency, giving receipts. The second aspect of transparency is in your reporting. You don't always have to look good. Things, see, life happens. Things change. You may already plan that you're going to do this, and then maybe something happened, and now you have to change the direction of the project or the program. That's part of it. Honoring your word. Say, we said this when we asked for your donation, but something has changed, and now we're shifting costs, we're shifting things. Having that opportunity to have those kind of conversation, I promise you, will make them love you more. It's not going to make them stop loving you or caring about your organization. But a lot of us, we think that, oh, if we're transparent, if we tell the truth, then they might want their money back. Most of the time, it happens less than 1%. But a lot of us, we are not willing to take that risk. And I'm charging you today to take that risk. Take the time to be transparent, to be honorable, to be of integrity when you're dealing with your donors. To tell them, you said we're going to use this for this, and we use this for that. Or we said we're going to use this for this, then something happened, and now we have to change courses, and we're going to use this for that. Or we said we're going to help 20 children, but when we started the project, we realized that inflation and economy, things have changed. We can only help 10. Based on the money we are able to gather, it's only 10 people we can help. I promise you, being clear, being of integrity, being transparent like that is going to get them to love you more, not to hate you more. It's going to get them to want to give to you more and want to make you one of their top organizations to give to. Because most of the other nonprofits and organizations, they do not do that at all. So it's very important that you do that. Then the next one is, it's not just about money. When it comes to donor management, it's not just about money. The truth of the matter is, a lot of us, we have gold in our backyard. What do I mean by that? The people that have given to us, they have loved ones, they have families, they have friends, they have associations, they are part of organizations. They can, if they were our fans, they can bring in more donors for us. But because a lot of us, we treat them anyhow, we treat them as one night stand, we just do, we cannot get anything more than just that one time money they gave to us. So it should be about the three keys. Sometimes maybe they don't have a lot to give and they're just giving $5, $1. That's wonderful. But they can give their time. Maybe what you need is their talent, their expertise. So it's not just about their treasure, which is money in this case, but their time. So for some of them, maybe what they have can just be a little bit, but their time is what makes the most value for you right now. Like, yes, $5 of them is wonderful, but maybe them donating 1 hour to mentor, to tutor, 2 hours to volunteer with your events to help you with a program, that can make a lot of difference. But because we are not communicating, we are not transparent, we're not thanking, we're not reporting back, they don't even know that they can do more than just give money to your organization. So start thinking beyond just the money, beyond just the treasure that we are requesting for. How can we get our donors to give their time? How can we get our donors to give their talent to their expertise to support the work that we are doing and to help us move forward? And the last but not the least is gratitude. Recognizing your donors. Stewardship also means recognition, making them feel like heroes, making them feel like superstars. Because if you make people feel good about themselves, they want to do more good. They want to give more. They want to invest more in you. Think about it as a human being in your own life. I'm sure you can come up with one or two or three experiences where you can look at it and say, oh my goodness, when somebody made me feel good, I want to do more for them. Even if you're married or if you have children, look at your relationship. When when your child does something wonderful to you, how does that make you feel? The same way when it comes to our donors too, we need to be able to express gratitude. And gratitude is not just about shouting them out from the rooftop. Yes, that is great. Some people, all they want is recognition. They want you to highlight them on their social media, on your newsletter, on their website. For some, they just want to thank you in an email. They just want the video that you send a video or a voice note if you're that close to them. To say, I just want to say thank you. It doesn't cost you money to be able to do that, to do gratitude. And so we're going to talk about why gratitude matters. And so I'm going to, the next few slides are just going to talk about the research about why gratitude and thanking your donors matter. So research have shown that the first time donors will receive a personal thank you within 48 hours. Again, as I said, that window of 24 to 48 hours is very critical. They are more likely to give 4 times more than again. So if you can thank your donors within 48 hours, the chance of giving to you again increase 4 times than if you don't thank them. So that is why thanking, gratitude matters a lot when it comes to stewardship. Another research shows that in 2017, just by the founder, one of the program manager, one of the team or volunteer calling to thank the new donors, ensure that they got 30% more people that gave back to the organization. So if you cannot even say thank you via email, via text message, if you want to go the extra mile to just call for 30 seconds, I just want to say thank you. They will remember that even more than the normal email thank you or text message thank you that you gave to them. And the chance of them giving to you increase again by 30%. Okay. And then in a study that was done, 25,000 donors got an extra thank you in their mail. They didn't ask them for any money, they just want to thank them. Then guess what? They gave 450,000 more than those that they did a study where 25,000 donors got an extra thank you. Then the other 25,000 didn't get just one thank you. That was it. Guess what? The extra 25, the people that got the extra thank you, they gave more than $450,000 more than those that only got thank you once. So again, that's thanking people, not like, oh, we thank them one time. That's the end. Look for avenue. If you send an email, then if you can call, if you can leave a voice note, voice message, you can do a video. That can even increase the chance of getting and retaining your donors as you go forward. Okay. Then again, why thank you matters. Like according to Dr. Adrian, it says the thank you is the single most important communication a donor receives. They have a higher recall of it than the appeal that generated that gift. So let me break this down. That's why I highlighted some of the things here and underlined them. So this is saying that it's like, yes, people are moved to give to your organization, but guess what? What moves them more is them getting a thank you. They remember your thank you more than your ask. They remember your thank you more than you appealing to give to their organization. So again, thank you matters. It goes a long way in being able to retain your donors and to manage them well. Okay, let's move on. We are running because I want to make sure we have enough time for questions. So now to the do's and don'ts of donor management. The first one is for you to know your core numbers. It's very critical. And a core number is basically what is the minimum amount of money it costs you to do what you say you're going to do. So let's say you work with children and your goal is to be able to provide tutoring for them. And let's say you have 25 children that you're working with. And then in total, for 25 students, you need 100,000, whatever currency, to be able to help these 25 students, whether in a month or a year, we figure it out. So what you have to do is say, okay, 100,000, I have a calculator here, divided by 25, so equals 4,000. So you're saying that, okay, for every child that we help, whether it's $4,000 or 4,000 naira, depending, like each month, it takes 4,000 naira or 4,000 cedis to work with, or 4,000 pula for those in Botswana. It takes 4,000 naira or pula or whatever the currency is to work with a child. That is what we mean by your core number. To say, okay, for us to do this good, to help this child in a month, to provide the tutoring, it takes 4,000 naira. It takes 4,000 pula. It takes whatever your currency is, right? So you need to know that number because it gives you the confidence. So when you go back, after you've done the thank you, you've done the reporting, when you go back to those donors, you say, you know what, we are increasing. We said we're going to help 25 kids, but now we have over 100 children on our wait list. Will you mind giving us another gift? Will you mind sponsoring another child with your 4,000 naira, with your 4,000 or $5 or $20, whatever the amount is? This is what it's going to do. It will cover their tutoring for the whole month. That means we get to help them to learn math, English, and give them worksheet and workbook, or get a book that they need, a textbook that they need that will be critical to their education and their academic projection. So even when you know your core number, and again, that goes back to data, it's going to be easy for you to be able to now go back to those donors and talk to them and have a conversation. And again, that's also transparency, breaking down your number for them. Don't say, oh, we need 1 million. 1 million for what? 1 million to do what? Break it down that, okay, this 1 million is going to go far for 3 months to help 20 families or 20 children or 20 youth. So break it down. Then the second of the duties of donor management is this: do make them the hero. Again, gratitude is understated, like in most of the work that we do. But now I want you to hype it up. Make them the hero. Make them feel like whichever one is your favorite, what do you call it? Superhero, whether it's Black Panther, Captain America, Thor, Black Widow, whoever it is, whoever, like Superman, Supergirl, Wonder Woman, whatever it is, make them feel equivalent to that. So it's not about you or your organization, because you need these partners. Again, like I said, Bill Gates has a lot of money, but yet he still needs friends, he still needs people, partners like Warren Buffett to donate to his foundation for him to do the good he wants to do in the world. So you cannot do it by yourself. So you need to recognize them. You need to make them feel significant. You need to make them feel important. And by thanking them, whether by a personal phone call, a handwritten thank you note, or just a computer generated one, that goes a long way. Okay. Then the third one is you need a communication cycle. It's very important that, again, it's about it's about relationship building. Again, that goes back to planning. Like, you need to know, okay, once they give, can we automate it? And it's easy now with technology, with the way the world is going. It's easy. There's MailerLite, there's Mailchimp, there are little email companies that you can start for free. With Mailchimp, you can have up to 3,000, or is it 2 to 3,000 people that you can send newsletter to every single month for free before you have to pay. With MailerLite, it's 1,000. Okay, and so it's very important that you have a communication cycle in place when it comes to your donor and being able to retain them, to say, okay, beyond just asking for money, we're going to thank them, we're going to send a report, and we're going to send a newsletter to say, this is what we've done, this is how we're doing, this is the progress we've made on this project or this program, and this is what is coming next in the next few months. So it's very important that you communicate and communicate. Check in with them, check on them. If they have anniversaries coming up, let's say it's a year that they gave to you today, send them and say, thank you. Last year, you became part of our family. You became part of a tribe. Today is 1 year that you've been given to our organization. We just want to recognize that, again, having the data. Without data, you cannot really do much. So if you've been slacking on data and getting that, you need to do more and work on that as you go forward. Okay. And then moving on to the don'ts of donor management. So the first one is, do not judge the size of your first gift that you're getting from your donors. A lot of us, we are snobs. We snob people that give a certain amount of money. We think, oh, anybody that gives me under $10 or whatever it is in your currency, then they don't deserve my thank you. They don't deserve a report. They don't deserve a receipt. That is a big red flag. It is very important that you, and I'm going to share a personal story with you. So when I started my organization in 2012, so we're going to be 10 years old for my nonprofit that we've been in existence. When I started in 2012, I was still a student. I was still in university, and I didn't have a lot. So there was a lady in my church that all she could give to me was $10. But every single time I would thank her, I would appreciate her. When I see her on Sunday, I'll go say hello to her. Hi, Miss E, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? This person, she has given over $50,000 to my organization in the last 10 years. Just this year ago alone, just last year, she gave us $10,000. Assuming I looked at the size of her first gift of $10 and said, oh, $10, she doesn't deserve my time and my attention. Will she be able to give me the amount of money she has given to me in the past 10 years? This was the first person beyond myself that believed in me, that believed in my nonprofit to donate to my organization. From $10, now she's giving $10,000. Why? Because of stewardship, because of thanking. So do not ever underestimate the size of what someone is giving to you. Just because they're giving $5, $20 now, does not mean that they're not going to give in the future. I've had stories with some of my other clients that I've worked with where maybe the person started with $20, $15, especially those older adults. Then guess what? Maybe after a few months, they didn't hear from the person again. But come to find out, maybe the person died and passed on and went to the other side, but they got a call from the lawyer saying that, oh, this person is bequesting $50,000 to your organization. But you never know from the $25, the $5 the person was giving per month that they have that potential in them. And I've even heard from other big non-profits where this person was giving them just $5, $10 or whatever, but never knowing that this person was a millionaire. They were just a teacher saving up in retirement. And they wrote it in their way that, oh, when I die, a percentage should go to this organization. So do not ever, ever judge your donors by the size of what they're giving to you the first time ever. Because that may even be a test. They want to test you. They want to test that, is this person have the staying power to keep going? Are they for real? Because the truth is, a lot of people have good intention. They want to start non-profit. They want to do a project. But a lot of us, we don't have that stickability, that staying power to say, you know what, I'm going to, no matter what happens, I'm here to stay. I'm here for the long run. For some people, they just want the glory, that they want to feel good that, oh, they have a non-profit, they're running a non-profit. But for you, I know that's not why you're here. So it's very, very important that you treat all donors right. Don't ever belittle anyone, no matter the size of what they're giving to you right now, because you don't know what the future holds. Up to now, I still talk to Miss E, even though we are in different cities, and sometimes I'm even outside of the country that she is in, or in the continent. I still keep in touch. I still send her reports. I still follow up with her. I still call her. Now that we've gotten to that level where I can call her, I can check in on her and do WhatsApp and those kind of things. And so again, from $10, she has given more than 50,000 in the past 10 years to support the work that we do. And so never, never, ever judge your donors by the size of their first gift. Okay? Okay. The second don't is don't ghost or do one night stand. This is another thing that we do a lot with a lot of us. We like to do ghosting. Once people give to us, then they don't hear from us again until 2 months, 6 weeks, 8 weeks again. Do not ghost your donors. Again, you want it to be a lifetime relationship. You want it to be a courtship. So think about it. Even as human being, whether you're male or female, let's say you're going on your first date, and then you really had a good time, and you're expecting the person to text you or call you and say, "Oh, I really had a great time. Let's do another one." But because the person did not follow up, because the person did not take the time to even acknowledge what you had the first time, do you think you'll be interested in going out with the person again? I'm sure your answer will be no. So again, the same thing with your donors. You need to nurture them so that you can get that second, third, fourth repeated giving, or third or fourth or fifth date. And then maybe your goal is to become partners, get married, and forever till death do you apart kind of situation. Those are the kind of donors you want. But it all goes back to your management of your donors. It all goes back to the stewardship of your donors. But if you ghost them after their first gift and you don't give to them, you don't say thank you, you don't report, guess what? They will not be interested in giving to you the next time. Okay? And so stop doing ghosting, stop doing one night stand relationship with your donors. Your goal is to build a relationship that lasts the test of time. And how you do that is through communication, like we've mentioned before. All right. Okay. Going back to the third don't of donor management. Excuse me. The last one is stop doing emergency fundraising. A lot of us, we like to do emergency fundraising. And honestly, that is tacky. And it shows that we're not properly thinking, we don't have the right system. And for me personally, it makes me want to not trust your organization. Because I'm like, didn't you know that you had something? So trying to use emergency to say, you must give to us today. If you don't give to us today, no, you should have you should have a fundraising plan. Again, why I started my call with planning. Planning is so key and critical as you go forward as an organization. You need to plan. If you don't plan, it's going to make you look unprofessional. So don't, when it's 1 week, 2 days before your project, that's when you now start screaming and putting everybody on pressure. Don't put your donors on pressure. If you are able to take the time to give yourself at least 30 to 45 days, that is the basic I request for when I'm working with clients. For whatever project, give yourself, ideally I'll say 3 months, but at least what 30 to 45 days to plan for it. And that gives you enough time. And if you create the plan, again, if you already make the plan, you're not going to fail. But a lot of us, we don't make the plan. That's why we fail. When it comes to, we don't reach our donation campaign goal and everything, because everything is emergency. We want to raise $1,000, and we just think that, oh, miracle, yes, miracle can happen. I believe in that. But even the Bible says that if you're a believer, it says faith without work is dead. Part of your faith, that combination of work and trusting in the Lord and believing, is also planning. You say, okay, I need $1,000. This project is going to happen in August. I'm not going to wait until July 25th to plan for something I want by August 10th. So what can I do? Imagine you give yourself 30 days. Let's say you just give yourself 30 days. Again, I have my calculator. You need 1,000. Let's divide that by 30 people. Okay, 1,000 divided by 30 people. So that's at least 33 people that you need. And then $33. Let's say you need $1,000. That's at least $33, right? But let's even make it simple. Don't let us even complain. Let's say you need $1,000. Okay, and you're like, I have 30 days. So how can I get 30 people to give me $33 in the next 30 days? That is a plan. That is the beginning of a plan. That is the beginning of a plan. So you need to stop all of this emergency fundraising. It does not build confidence in your organization. It doesn't show us that you're professional. It doesn't show us that you're in it for the long run. You should know already. Again, you should like everything I'm doing in my own organization for this year, from both for my for-profit and my non-profit, I already planned it since December. We have a project that we're starting in July. Guess what? I started fundraising for it since January. It was a new project. I didn't get the money until April. We're starting next month, like the first week. But we got that money. Why? I did not do emergency fundraising. I didn't wait until I took the time and I planned for it. I knew what it was going to take, because I knew this is a new project. I need to convince people that this is because we've never done this before. So this is like a new thing entirely for us and for our donors. So it took me to April, but I got the exact amount of money I needed and even a bit more to do that, because I didn't wait for when it's last minute. I planned for it. So I am begging you, as an organization, we are entering into a new quarter. We're entering into a new month. We are entering into a new second half of the year. If you don't have plan for the next 6 months, plan for the next 6 months of your organization, create a fundraising plan. Do not do something that you're like, oh, I'm going to just ask for money tomorrow, and it's next week that you need the money. You're going to fail. You are going to fail because you failed to plan. Okay? And so that is the 3 don'ts as we go forward. And now, how to retain your donors. So a lot of us, we do a lot of prospecting. We try to get thousands of people, many people, through social media, word of mouth, email, friends, family. We try to do but a lot of us, we do a lot of prospecting. Then we do some cultivation. We do a lot of asking. But the truth is, think of it like a funnel. Think of it like a pail, like a pool or a bowl of water that has leaking stuff. Without the stewardship at the bottom, like as you see in this picture, all your prospecting, cultivation, asking is going to go down the drain. So stewardship is still the foundation for anything else. Stewardship is still the foundation. That foundation needs to be tight. Like right now, I'll say don't bother about looking for new donors, because the truth is, again, you have gold. Think of last year, 2 years ago, people have given to you. How many of them gave to you now this year? So I have a calculation for that we're going to do for that, to say what is your retention rate as an organization. So your stewardship is key. So it's not enough for you to prospect. We do that a lot. We do a lot of cultivation, looking for new people to give to us. We do a lot of asking. But when it comes to stewardship, that is where we fail. And that is why all our efforts just goes down the drain. That's why we have to do more. We have to use more effort each time we're trying to raise money. But if you are doing your stewardship well, if you're managing your donors well, you won't have to exert a lot of effort. You won't have to be under pressure to be able to fund your work and fully fund the impact you're trying to make as an organization and as an entity. So again, I'm begging you, stewardship is the business. To be able to retain, to do the work that you want to do and do it with ease, you need to learn to steward and steward your donors right. Okay. And so now, these are 5 ways to retain your donors. So again, a lot of the time, it's our action or our inaction that creates whether the good or bad attitude we get from our donors. Whether they choose to give to us again, whether they choose to snub us, whether they choose to let our message go to their spam or mute side of their issue or ban side. It's whether we do good by them or we don't do good by them. So it's very, really critical for you to take the time to really start planning the right action that will lead to the kind of result that you want. Okay? And so I want you to take some time now. If you have your pen and paper, please let's calculate your donor retention rate. Okay. So the way that you do this is to look at, I'm not even looking at 2022 data right now. Look at 2021. How many people gave to your organization? I asked this question that last year, how many people get your, so let's just do an assumption. How many people get to your organization in 2021? Let's say you got 300 people that get to your organization in 2021. Then how many get to you in 2020? Then divide it. So put 2021 number on top and 2020 down. What the trend we see and the trend that I see is that a lot of people, more people gave to them the year before than last year. So more people gave to them in 2020. So let me do the calculation. So this is it here. So let's say 150 people gave to you in 2021, but 250 gave to you in 2022, right? And so what you're going to do is to say, okay, do 150 divided by, I meant 2020, sorry, not 2022. It should be 2020. So let's say in 2021, last year, only 150 people gave to you. But in 2020, 250 actually gave to you. But because you didn't know your data, you didn't bother to thank them, you didn't bother to report. A lot of them, they drop off in 2021. So how do you now know your donor retention rate? So you put the 2021 number, 150 that gave to you in 2021, divided by those that gave to you in 2020. So 150 divided by 250 times 100. So that gives you your rate, and that's 60%. That means that at least 40% dropped off. 40% dropped off because you did not steward them right. And so you're only able to retain 60% of your donors. So the remaining 40%, were just waiting and watching and looking and hoping that you're going to get back to them, and you never did. And because of that, you're where you are. So I'm about to round up so that we can take some questions, okay? And so again, yeah, we just did that. So donor retention, 150 divided by those that, if you do, let's say 150 gave in 2021, 100 gave in 2020, what is the number? That means like you're only able to retain maybe 50% of those that gave to you in the last few years. So you need to know that, and you need to know that as you go forward. So these are the 5 ways, and this is going to be the last thing, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. The 5 ways to retain your donors. 1 is to audit your donors' journey. A lot of you don't even know how it is. You just have a website, you keep sending to people to give. Have you even given to your own organization before? Have you tested giving to your organization to say, okay, when I give to my organization, what happened next? Do I get a thank you, or did you just disappear and say bye-bye, and then I don't hear from my organization again? So go through the process yourself. You test your process, whether it's manual or technological, you test it. What is the donor journey when people give to my organization? Because if you don't know what the journey is like, you don't know what you're going to fix. You don't know what you need to fix. You don't know what system to put in place. So it's very important that you audit, you yourself give to your organization and see what you get in return, whether it's nada, nothing, silence, ghosting, or you get communication, and see how that makes you feel. And that can really help you see how your donors feel when they give to your organization. Then the second thing is, another way is to create newsletters. Again, it's easy nowadays to do that. You don't have to print newsletters again. With email address, even on social media, you can share those newsletters. Use MailerLite, use Mailchimp. Register, it's free for the first 2,000 people that are on your email list. You can send them letters, whether daily, weekly, monthly, bi-weekly. You can set it up and automate the system. Keep communication going. Then the third one is to have non-ask events. So look for opportunity every month. Do like a family meeting, tribe meeting, champions meeting, donors meeting, where you invite them to either come to you in person or do virtual online. Like we're meeting today to say, you know what, we just want to thank you, update you, let you know what is going on, and share what is going on, the ups, the down, the good, the bad, the ugly, or do it behind the scene. You're not asking them for anything. You just want to share. You just want to connect with them. And your goal is not to ask them for anything, just to share and say, this is where we are, this is what is going on. We just want to thank you and tell you and report to you how we are doing as an organization. Okay? Then the next one is to have a one-on-one or small group meeting with your donors. Like a lot of you don't know why people give to you. You don't know what made them choose that trigger, like what triggered them to say yes to your organization. So it's very important for you to understand, it's okay, why are people giving to me? Why do they give to me? So you can have a focus group to say, why do you give? What can we do better? Ask them questions, ask them for ideas, ask them for suggestions. Don't just think that you have to know it all. You don't have to know it all. You never know who these people know. You never know what they're connected to. You don't know what other opportunities that can come out of that. But if you don't ask beyond just money, you're not going to get the time, you're not going to get the talent, right? And then the last one is personal phone call or voice notes, personal handwritten messages, if it's possible. And there are even ways that you can even do it online now. There's an app called Felt App, FELT.app, Felt.app, that now it will make you write. I think you're using your own hand to write, but it's online, and then they'll get it as an email, but they will feel as if it's an handwritten note from you to them. And so you can do phone call, you can do videos, make it personal. Call out their name in that video. Personally send them the video where you call them and say, dear Doctor this, dear Mrs. this, dear Mr. this, dear Shade, dear Paula, dear whoever. Thank you. Because of donors like you, we're able to do this, that, and that. So make it personal, whether that's through a phone call, handwritten note, video messages, personalized, do that. If you can do these things and do them consistently, again, consistency is the key. Don't just do it one time. Again, and the way you build consistency is by having a system. Whether that's a human being, whether it's a technology, you can do that. And I wish I could show the resource I prepared, but I'm sure the organizer will share it with you. It will not allow me to share a Excel document. I tried. It will not let me share it. But there is a way that, like, I created an Excel document for you and showed you how you can create your stewardship plan, and hopefully that can help you as you go forward, as you move on. Again, so these are just the steps in creating a stewardship plan. Now that I cannot show you the resource I created, at least these are the steps. So at least create a set of rules or touch points that you, like this. That's what stewardship is about. A rule, like, this is what we are going to do when this person gives to us, when they donate this, what I and so do that. And it should not be about the amount. It should be about those that are giving to you. So thanking the donor. Okay, we're going to thank them no matter what, no matter it's $1, 50 cents, 50 kobo, we're going to thank them and make them feel special. Then beyond just thanking them, we're going to communicate with the donor. We're going to report. We're going to share what is going on. We're going to share the progress of our organization and what we're doing. Then the C is we're going to interact to build a relationship. We're going to get to know them. What are they interested in? What do they even give? Why are they supporting the work that we do? Because giving is emotional. For people to leave their add any money to donate to your cause, that means you move them. That means you inspire them. That means you triggered something in them. And so you need to understand why. Because once you know, then you can do that better and better and get more people to be part of those that will give to your organization. Then is to acknowledge their impact. Let them know what their money is doing. Let them know how far them supporting your organization, being a partner for good, how that is making a difference, how that is changing life, transforming communities, saving life, and making things better for people. And then lastly, to cultivate a deeper relationship. Like I said, Miss E, she started with $10 giving to my organization. Now, this year alone, she has given more than $10,000 to us as an organization. How did that happen? Because I took the time to cultivate that relationship. I didn't look at her. I didn't judge her by the first $10 she gave me in 2012. I sustained that relationship through communication, through interacting, getting to know her, getting to understand what makes her tick, why she even chose to even support me in the first place, acknowledging and helping her know the significance of what she's doing, how she's helping us to make the difference, and change the life of people and transform community for good as well. So if you can do this and do it well and do it consistently, I promise you, you'll be able to retain your donors and you'll be able to even get more people to give to you and support your work. And so on these notes, I'm going to stop and I'm going to open it up for questions and let Miss Kane come back.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Omotola. Wow. You're such a great teacher. Thank you for
Pleasure.
really simplifying today's focal topic with examples, practical examples from your own experience. I really love that. And I love how very pragmatic your strategies are. They are simplified yet still very practical. One of the great highlights for me, just listening to you teach tonight was just you emphasizing or really laying emphasis on the power of stewardship. I just love that illustration you gave about the funnel, and just saying if at the base you don't have stewardship, every other thing you do, all of your efforts is in vain.
Great.
And I love how you just, in a very in depth manner, broke down what stewardship meant and how we can walk through that principle of stewardship. Thank you so much,
Very
Dr.
welcome.
Mutum. I don't want to run through everything because I'll be teaching again. You've really done justice to it, and I can bet everyone who was tuned in tonight. You can just, I'm sure you were seeing the comments from everyone as they were really, really, really taking in all that you were releasing. Thank you so much, Dr.
My
Motala.
pleasure.
I want us to share our gratitude in the comment section. I know a lot of us have done that, sharing from time to time. How what the how moments are for you. So just share with us in the comment section. We'd love to read from you what really stood out from you from tonight, from Dr. Motola's presentation. And also, if you have questions, bugging questions, we know most of our community members already curated questions for us, which I would ask in a few minutes. You can still go ahead to ask certain your questions live, whilst we're in here. So please go ahead to type in the comment section any question you have in mind. Thank you so much, Deborah Adigba. So many people were just really sharing so many positive feedback about tonight's webinar. Thank you so much, Dr. Motola. So let's right into it quickly so that we don't take much of your time. So there is this question here for one of our community members, which says, how can nonprofit organizations and social enterprises create a link of connections between their donors and partners in the areas of sustainability? This question looks a lot, really, maybe quite ambiguous, but I believe you understand it. So please, you can just maybe dive into the aspect. Yeah, that.
Absolutely. Again, the answer is in the non-act event, bringing them together. That's how you build the connection. So the only time you should not just be asking them for money. That should not be the only time. But if you can create events, again, it doesn't have to be in person. If you cannot make it in person, you can do virtual. Bring them together. If they're like partners, or you can even bring the beneficiary to say, you know what, these are the people that have been funding the work. These are the people that have been jumpstarting greatness in you or in your and helping us to unlock the potential in you through their donation of their time, their talent, their effort. And I know one of the entities I used to volunteer for when I was living in another city, every single year they bring all of us together. They host us for dinner. It doesn't matter whether you give them $1 or 10,000. They host us for dinner. There will be like a menu for everybody, and you have like three choices and you can choose. It's like a three-course appetizer, main meal, and dessert. And this person, that's all. And all they do is just report us, say, we just want to thank you. And then they'll show a slideshow and they'll talk about what happened, what they did, art, and all of those kind of things. So if you're trying to bring your partners and donors together, and that is the way, do non-act events and just bring people together to appreciate them, to show them the journey, to show them how far you've come and the way that you're going. And so hopefully that answers the question. But that's the only way that I can see it, is like partners and donors that do not act events and bring them together. And I never know. That can even be opportunity for professional development. You can do it as a networking thing where you divide the hour into different segments. Okay, the first 15 minutes is for networking. People can get to know each other, like do speed dating, so speed networking. 1 minute here, then go to the next person or something. And that way that can build and foster relationships, do you see? And then after that, then do maybe a 30-minute presentation where you show them what you've done in the past 2 years, what you're doing, your plan for the future. So cast the vision for the next year or the next month or the next quarter, and then wrap it up with, okay, thank you, we appreciate you. We just want to show that we love you and we're grateful for you, and we look forward to doing great things together. Don't ask them for anything, and then just go from there.
I love it. I love it. I just love how you again emphasize the power of maybe just going outside of the norm and organizing a non-formal event where they get to relax, and you bring in all the key stakeholders, all the key stakeholders and key partners and funders in the same space to create that sort of connection. Very powerful. Thank you so much, Dr. Motola, for sharing that very salient point. Now, our next question goes first. How do nonprofit organizations and social enterprises identify opportunities in terms of donors? How can they spot donors? So,
Absolutely. So there are many ways to do that. I think there are donors all around us, right? But a lot of us, one of the things I noticed is that we're so shy or we're so embarrassed by what we do. Like like you need to have your elevator pitch ready or what in the business like if you have a business, you should
Yes.
have so the same thing for your organization. What is your theory of change? So that's why it's called your social good. Like for me, like when I started my slide, I told you mine. I said my aim is to prepare, propel, position, empower individuals and organizations to their highest potential. So as an entity, like, and I'll give you another example of how I was able to get one of the biggest donors in my lifetime for my nonprofit organization. I think I've shared these stories before, but I guess we may have new people. But when I started and I registered my entity, then I needed to open a bank account, right, for that. And this is relevant to the question. And so I went to the bank, and then there was this bank person that was standing then at GTB Bank that you have to first fill a form with somebody before you can now go to the next step. To cut the long
Yes.
story short, this was a young person, I think recent graduate as well. So I was like, you know what? I introduced it. My name is blah blah blah. I'm the founder of this non-profit, and I want to open a bank account. I see that you're a young person. We need volunteers. Like I was not afraid to share
I
the
love it.
value. And so I already had an elevator pitch to say our goal is to break barriers and ignite possibility in young students. We are working with public secondary school students within this area. Since you are around this Bodija area, I think our center is not so far away. Will you consider coming to volunteer your time? So a lot of us, we don't give that opportunity for people. So even though this person never gets to my organization, but guess what? He never forgot that impression and what I told him about my organization. Because when an opportunity came in the future, like almost a year after, when they were doing this Who Want to Be a Millionaire show, uh, and
Yes.
then they had a special segment when they said that who deserves to be surprised. Can you believe that this person remembered me, remembered
Wow.
my pitch? And I was
Wow.
even out of the country. I was speaking at another country. And apparently he has been trying to reach me. I never had his phone number. Again, every time I went to the bank, I would talk to him. I would tell him about my nonprofit, and he never came. Even he said he would think about it, but he never forgot me. And
Wow.
to cut the long story short, he used his own money to pitch my name to this MTN Who Want to Be a Millionaire thing. And to cut the long story short, I got the opportunity to be one of the people that was chosen for that segment. And at the end of the day, I won 50 million naira because of that.
Wow.
So even though he never gave to my organization, but because I was not ashamed, I was not afraid to share about what I was doing. So a lot of us, we just stay quiet. Like we have, like you don't even need a business card. There's no need. You don't need a business. Your passion should be the one speaking for you. You're like you can speak. Like create a 1 to 2, 3 sentences to say this is my elevator pitch. This is how I'm changing life. This is how I'm transforming community. And use that wherever you are. And you don't always have to ask for money. Think
I
about it.
love
I
it.
didn't I didn't ask him for money. I
Yeah.
asked him to volunteer his time. But even though he never gave his time, but at the end of the day, he used his money to pitch me to an event I didn't even know was happening. And because
Wow.
of that, we're able to raise 50 million naira because of that. Just because of that interaction. And so
Yeah.
that would be my advice to you is that every opportunity, again, for is passing over opportunity repeatedly. Prepare. Take the time to own down your messaging, own down the impact, the work you're trying to do. So wherever you show up, like you are ready when there's an opportunity to connect with people. And also another way that if you're shy and you're like, I don't want to be the first person to talk to somebody, ask them. People want to talk about themselves. Ask them and get to know those people. Get interested in those people. Say, oh, tell me about yourself. I see that you start. I do that a lot. Like I have this affirmation card thing that I created. So wherever I am, wherever I go to, wherever I see, I go introduce myself and say, oh, I have this affirmation card. I just want to give it to you. It's a Saturday, blah blah blah. And then I
I
ask them,
love
tell me.
it.
And then through that, then I introduce myself. I introduce my organization. I introduce what I'm doing. And because of that, it has opened doors for me. So start by getting interested in other people. Then based on what they now share with you, that can say, okay, this is an angle I can come in. I can tell them about my entity. I can tell them about my organization and what I'm
Yes.
trying to do and at the same time. So you don't always have to be the first person. If you're shy, you're not sure, get interested in them, get to know people, get to know what makes them tick, and then find commonalities from there and use
Yes.
that to now build and that. And then another example I'll give is like start with who you know. A lot of us we're trying to reach upper,
That's
but we
right.
have thousands of opportunities around us.
Very
If
true.
if you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, identify mosques and churches around you. They have women group, they have men group, they have youth group. Look for universities. They have people that can volunteer their time that need internship that will get credit for it. You don't have to pay them. But even going back to that, like if you can identify 10 churches, it doesn't have to be just your own church or your own mosque, depending on your religion, and say, you know what, I'm going to go and talk to them, say, you know what, I just want to share how we're doing to change our community, to change our city. And then at the end of the time, have a sheet of paper where you say they can put their name, their phone number, their email address to get to learn more. You don't even have to ask them for anything, but guess what? It never fails. I've done it. I've asked my clients to do it. I didn't people say, how can we give? Where's your website? How can we donate to your organization? So you are opportunities are there. But if you don't take the time to look for it, if you don't take the time to go open your mouth to ask, nothing is going to change. And so you have to, and that's what you are. You are not missing opportunities. Opportunities are already around you. It's how you, whether you're taking advantage of it or not. That is where the question lies.
I love it. I love it. I love how you are again emphasizing the power of being unafraid of sharing what you're doing, the impact that you're making. And I love how you're saying you don't even need to be upfront about, I need you to come and give to this cause or give to this organization or come on board. All you're just starting with, even start out by being interested in them, getting to
Mm-hmm.
know them, and then moving on to being unique by sharing something on a good day that they would never know or would have never expected to have received, just as you said, the affirmation card, without them asking for it. And from there, you seize that opportunity to introduce what you do, the impact you're making in the world, and how they can be of great impact or influence or get to partner with the work that you do. Very, very, very powerful. And I just love again how you're emphasizing the power of being bold, the power of
Mm-hmm.
being audacious.
Yeah.
You don't have to. The worst that can happen is, okay, maybe in that
No.
material time, yes, they don't take any
And
action or you get
it's
a
next
no. But
opportunity.
yes, but the thing I can assure you about is that you will be happy and glad that you shared what you shared. Number one, it boosts
Absolutely.
your confidence.
Mm-hmm.
It
And another
boosts your
thing, mhm.
confidence.
Another thing is like think of it like a farmer. I love farming. I have a 10 acre
Yes,
of farm of land, so I like to go back. Like when a farmer plants, you don't know when it will like there are times. So
exactly.
there
I
are
love it.
seasons. So that's
Yes,
another thing you should note in your journey is that there are going to be seasons. Again, Rome was not built in a
yes,
day, right? Foundation matters.
yes,
Think of a house, a skyscraper that is 100 building up. It started with a foundation. So even
yes,
if you're just like so just because you're getting no's now, like that's like you just have to refine your message on the right person is going to say yes to you. And the truth is there is abundance. That's what I'm like there's more than enough. Like there's more than enough money, resources to help you, to support you. But a lot of us we give up too soon. We don't wait to get the harvest. We like we plant here and then we think that oh after 2 months it's not germinating. I'm going to move on. When maybe it takes 6 months for this to germinate. And so
yes,
take your time, don't give up. Like, yes, try other things, look, but don't give up. Don't just like, okay, I'm giving up, I'm going on. Mm-mm. Like, be a farmer. Look at the farmer and say they will take the time to water, to fertilize, to weed away. So look at it, say, what is not right in our messaging? What is not connecting again? If you don't check your data, if you don't text, if you don't tweet, if you don't speak, you don't know what is connecting and what is not connecting at the same time. And so take that time to really look at it. It's okay. What do we need to weed away? What do we need to prune? What do we need
yes,
to add more onto it? And before you know it, your harvest is going to be great. So don't ever let the days of little beginnings, the days of oh my I
yes,
was I not afraid? I was afraid of course. Like my hands,
yes,
my mouth was shaking when anytime I was just like I cannot not share about what we're trying to do with the world. So if you so much believe in your work in your organization, then like no fear should stop you from being able to ask for what you want, whether it's time, talent, or treasure or money that you want from people. And
yes.
before you know it, it's all going to come. But you have to keep asking. That's part of you planting the seed. And you never know when it's going to germinate.
Thank you so much, Dr. Motala. And everything you have shared across, even when you showed us the wheel of stewardship, asking, thanking, and reporting, one thing you emphasized is the power of consistency,
Mm-hmm.
being consistent at everything. So let's dive in quickly. I can see one of our community members sharing a question in the comment section. Natalia, I see you. She's joining us all the way from Jamaica.
Awesome.
Yes. So she says, being new to this community, any suggestions about best practices to solicit my first stream of donors? So, Dr. Omotola,
Absolutely.
please, I want you to, yeah, answer
So
this
I'll
question.
say, start with your family and friends, or like I always like this is the example. I was like, you have a phone, right? A lot of us we have close to 200 or more contacts. For you to have the contact of the people on your phone, that means that you've had an interaction. Like it's not like people are on Facebook or Instagram or all of those Twitter pages. So that means there are people that already knows you, that knows what you're passionate
That's right.
about, that knows that you care about something. So give them the opportunity to be the first to invest in your goals and your dreams, right? And so that's going to be the first way. And you have to again ask. You have to open, and so you can organize an event, a small group, bring your family and friends together to say, you know what, I know you know that I've always talked about starting a nonprofit or doing this project for these youth or for this community. Now I'm actually getting serious. I have the plan. This is what it's going to take for us to, and then start small again. Don't, because a lot of us sometimes like you've never run 5 marathons and you want to do 100, or you've never run for 1 mile, you want to run 20 in 1 week. So another one, start small while you grow big. So that's another way to not get discouraged, because of course there might be a lot of no in the process. So still, if your goal
Mm,
is like your goal is I want to get my first 5 donors, and then maybe find the number $10, $5, whatever your currency is, it is, and then have a conversation again, or maybe it's finding a church or your church, going to your church pastor, church community, or whatever to say, I would like to speak to the women's group or youth group or men's group, and just give them this opportunity to support me in this project that I'm doing. Or would you like to partner with me? So you ask, and then again, use the CIA formula. Since say you're new, you may not know what I call the CIA formula. So this stands for capacity. For anybody you are asking for a donation from, do they have the capacity to give you the amount you're requesting? It doesn't make sense for you to be asking someone for $100 and when all they can give is $10. The answer is going to be automatically no, and they're not going to tell you that, oh, I can only give $10. Some people will, most people will not, because they might feel like they might feel ashamed of it. So you need to understand, and that takes research. That's okay. What is the capacity of this person to give me what I'm requesting for? So not to be in error. Surely if you're new, I'll say a range of between $5 to like $10, $15 would be a good start to go with. If you're not sure yet and just building the relationship, the C stand for capacity. They have to have the capacity to give. So I used to say opera has the capacity to give million, right? But now going into the I interest. Opera is not interested in everything. There's some people all they care about is cats, dogs, and animals. If you ask them to give for a child, they will never give. Why? Because even though they have the money to give and they have the capacity to give, they are not interested in animals, or they are not interested in children, vice versa. Some might be interested in animals. So if you now have somebody that loves animals to give for a child project, it might be an automatic no, or maybe, because that is not where their core interest lies. So again, what is their interest? Are they interested in your cause? Are they interested in the population you're serving? Are they interested in your mission? Are they interested in the community that you're working in? And then again, Oprah might be interested in children, right? And she might want to give to that. She has the capacity. Then the last one in the CIA formula is A, access. How accessible are you to that person? So yes, Oprah may want have a lot of money. Oprah may care about children and education, but can you reach Oprah either by phone call, by text message, and you get a response back from Oprah? If that is going to take you a year, month, then that is not the best person to ask right then. So look at people around you. Who has the capacity to give you the $5, $10 you're requesting for? Who is interested in the children or the issue or the challenge you're trying to solve? And then who do you have access to that you can either call, text, message, or go to see in person and have a conversation with them? So if you follow that, then it will be easy for you to get your first few donors to support your work.
I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Motula. Very, very powerful insight. I really love the CIA formula. Test their capability, test their interest, and also test the accessibility. Thank you so much, Dr. Motula. So I want us to rush up quickly, yeah, so that we can take at least two or three more questions. So, my next question goes thus. What are the major reasons donors, or what would be the major reasons why donors leave an organization? I know you have shared some don'ts with us on what we shouldn't do. Don't despise, the donation, and don't ever despise the power of gratitude. But I believe there are many other tools or reasons why people experience donor transitions,
Mm-hmm.
where donors decide to leave an organization, and sometimes they don't understand why they are experiencing it and how can they prevent such. I know you've shared two tips with us. I know there are more tips you can share with us, so please just
Absolutely.
set
So
that.
again, why communication matters, again, sometimes things shift, life happens, seasons change, right? So that's another thing that you need to know. And that's why, like, having that communication, understanding what makes your donor tick and everything. Because if you don't know that maybe they lost somebody, or like maybe they experience a loss of something or grief, and they're just in that season where, like, they just at that moment they're just not interested because things are shifting. They have to realign and reshift all their priorities and things like that. So another reason might be because life happens to them. Like right now, like here in the US and across the world, they're shouting about economic collapse, recession, and all of people are tightening their belts and everything. So let's say the person out of business, and then maybe something it's run down, and you didn't even know, you didn't pay attention enough to, you don't have that
Mm,
relationship to know, then they might leave. And then in that kind of situation, honestly, the best you can do, like if you find out, is like to send a note to say, okay, like you can send a note to say, like, we want to say thank you. We know that things are tough.
mm,
You can be upfront about it. Like right now in this recession that everybody's screaming and shouting, if you know that things are tough, we just want to say thank you for what you've given. We understand it, you cannot give, but we just want you to know you're still part of our tribe, and we're still here, and thank you for all that you've been giving to us. So that might be another reason, because life happen, economic collapse, things change,
yeah.
and because those are things that you cannot control. But what you can keep doing is to keep communicating, because
Keep-
things can shift at any time, right?
love it.
So you can just keep communicating. So far, they've given you access to their email or whatever contact you have with them, then keep communicating. And if you don't have access to their email personally, keep posting, whether it's online, keep sending your newsletter, keep doing videos, whatever it is that you were doing before that they used to watch and like and show interest in. So don't stop doing that just because they stop giving, just because you never know, they can easily come back at any time. Things can switch, things can change, and then before you know it, they might even come back better and with more opportunity to give and to invest in the work that you do. So that's one reason. Another reason again is lack of clarity. Let's say today you said, oh, you're going to do this, and then all of a sudden you change your mission, you change your vision, you change your
Yeah.
focus. So if there's instability, they see that you're
Mm-hmm.
just going up and down, you're not
Yeah.
really like you're like wishy-washy, then absolutely they are not going to even, this person is not serious, this organization,
Very true.
they don't know what they are doing. And so a lot of us, like, we try to do too much all at once. And even
That's
as,
right.
because they will be looking at, like, you just started 3 months ago, 1 month ago, and you say, so sometimes again, it's good to dream big, but again, start small, like build the right foundation, little bit, like step by step, it adds up. But if you're, because if donors, they're thinkers. If they stop believing in your vision, if they stop believing in the capacity of you to be able to fulfill what you said you're going to fulfill, they will not give to you again. Because they're like, this person, they're just a joker. They said they are going to eradicate poverty by 2025. Realistically, they say, I don't believe in it. Why should I support it? So you have to give them a reason to keep believing in you. So again,
Yes.
be strategic about what you do, build wisely, plan rightly in that regard. And so if you can do that as well, that can also help to retain them and from them to just abruptly leave you as a whole. But again, there are some things that you cannot control, and there's some things that you can control. So whatever you can control on your own part, control it. And that means thanking them, appreciating them, communicating with them, updating them, and things like reporting back to them. But the things that you cannot control, there's hardly anything you can do. Sometimes, again, interest might shift, life might shift. Maybe the person was single before, and then they used to care about this, and then
Married.
now they are married and they have children. It's like, you know what? Now I just want to focus on those that focus on children. I don't want to focus on anything that is on youth or something. So things can change, and you just never know. And so yours is like, the best bet you can do is to do right by them by doing that stewardship. And if things happen and they fall out, it doesn't mean that they cannot come back again. And because things can change and life can happen again and the interest can be reacquired. But for those things you cannot control, I'll say don't worry yourself. Look for opportunities to find new donors. You can even ask them, do survey. What can we do better? For if you see
I
that
love
some
it.
people stop giving,
I love
you say,
it.
send them a survey. Ask them. They don't have to identify themselves. That will you tell us why you stopped giving? Will you tell us why you what? And to ask for feedback. It's not going to kill you. It's going to make you better. And so that's another thing you can do, to ask them for feedback. If you can really, if you know that, oh, we have a drop, so send a general email. And I'm sure a lot of people would like to give you feedback anyway. So you're going to get a lot of
Yes.
a lot of information from that. So ask for feedback. If all else fails, ask them for feedback and see what they say, and see if that's something you can correct, or if just it's just out of alignment with your mission and your vision, and then that's okay, and just go from there.
Thank you so much, Dr. Motola. I really just love the practicality of that response. I
Mhm.
love how you again emphasize the power of data gathering, how you can deploy survey to be able to extract the right information in terms of determining why the donors may have left or why they decided to hold back, in that time or season. Powerful. Thank you so much, Dr.
My
Motala. We
pleasure.
really have had
My dear
such a
pleasure.
great time. I want to take two more questions. The penultimate question goes first, riding on what you've just said. Effective communication is very powerful to retaining donors. So, I wanted to share with us more communication strategies that could enable us retain donors within our organization.
Absolutely. So that reminds me of a quote. I don't know who said it, but it said, "Fact tells, story sells."
Yes,
So
I love
one of the ways, like, people love stories, right? Think about
it.
it. The most watched videos, whether it's on TikTok or Reels, or like, or it's stories, right? So that's one of the big ways to really, really, like, is tell stories. Tell stories of transformation. Tell stories of, show the before and after. Show the process. Show the behind the scenes. Like, that's different ways that you can communicate and get them engaged. Don't just do normal. Oh, just want to say thank you, and then this is what we did. No, use story format. And stories can be either written, it can be through videos, it can, whether it's you saying stuff or using animations and things like that. Because the truth is, people love entertainment more than education, right? And so, when you're doing that communication, make it more entertaining for them, because that will retain their attention, and that will make them, like, keep their focus on your organization, because that is just the truth. Like, the attention span of human being is so, it's so really, like, it goes off very short. It's very short. And so how you can do that is through entertainment. So if there's a way that you can communicate your impact, the work you're doing, where you are, what you like, through stories, whether that's through a video, whether that's through a story that you like, that you just read it and cannot drop it until you go to the last line of that message. Use stories. Don't just try to do it matter of fact to say, oh, statistics, this, like, show it to a story. And then sometimes the story of one person. Like, you don't have to share 1,000 stories. You just be like,
Very true.
this month we're focusing on Sharon. This is
Yes.
how you've been able to do this with Sharon. So you can even do, like, you can show, like, background. You can do videos. Sharon does not have to talk. Maybe of just, like, what happened behind the scene or something. If you're using videos or those kind of media, or you can just tell the story, like, this is what happened before we came to the life of Sharon. This is the situation. These are the facts of the matter. But during the process, in 3 months, Sharon did this. In 3 months, and now we are here at 6 months, and this is the huge difference, and this is the before and after. So if you can show pictures of before and after too, those can also be powerful as well. Even if you don't have videos, if you can do the before and after pictures, that can really, or before or and after stories, that can really make a whole lot of difference and really help you in being able to retain and communicate with them as well.
I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Motola, for that very powerful contribution. And writing on this, I want to emphasize that we had a webinar series where we had Dr. Naomi come take on the power of storytelling, social impact storytelling for nonprofits and social enterprises. So you can, if you go through our YouTube channel, subscribe, and we also are going to curate a playlist for you of all the webinars that we've held. So definitely that would hit your inbox. If you're part of our community, we would share it within one of our newsletters, in the coming weeks. But ahead of that, you can just search for that particular webinar and watch it. It was very detailed. She ran in-depthly on the power of social impact storytelling, sharing very pragmatic strategies and tools. Thank you so much, Dr. Motola.
My pleasure.
Wow, it's been a beautiful night. Just before we call it a night, I want to take a question from Ashimi Miriam. She popped it
Okay.
in here in the comment section. She
Mhm.
says, thank you so much, Dr. Motola. I am learning a lot. Please, can you suggest the best way to appreciate donors if an organization does not have the donors' contact details?
Absolutely, yes. Because I know that's another thing. Because a lot of us, like, we just want to get the money or don't get the data from our donors. So hopefully now you put that in place when you're doing your
Yes.
donation form to get their contact information, because that can help you to retain them. But to answer your question, so it's as simple as like recognizing them. Like I know someone that she does a wall of fame. So now, like
Yes.
on social media, and she used collage, and then
I
if
love
she
it.
can get their picture, she goes search for their pictures, and then she like for the month or for the week, those are given to the organization, and she has like maybe one liner or something about them, say thank you and do a shout out to them. And then if not, like sometimes like another person, all she does is like she once a day she looks for like she asks for their permission like for like because if they're giving to you they're technically giving you their permission at least to use their name if you want to you want to appreciate this because if you don't have their contact then how did they even give to you in the first place? So if all you have is the name or you have a description of what they did, then use that and just do a shout out, do a video collage, do a picture collage.
I love it.
And if you want to thank our donors for July, or you can even do it right now, the last 6 months, January to June,
To
everybody that's
date.
giving to you, go say thank you
Yes.
or do a family meeting next month or like say, you know what, okay, we just want to thank you and should give you half year report of where we are going and everything, just to appreciate you and everything. It doesn't cost you a lot to do that, whether in person or through online virtual means. And so if you don't have their contact and there's no way you can get it, or go search for it. I promise you, if you look at Facebook, LinkedIn, you will find their
Yeah.
email address, you'll find their phone
Yeah.
number, you find
Very true.
so don't
With
like
research.
be proactive. Don't wait and say that
Yes.
oh until they give it to me. You and that might even make them even say, oh my goodness, like this person
Yeah.
took the extra mile to find me and all of that. But in between, like if you know somebody that knows them, say thank you to that person on their behalf so that that person can tell them and then they will feel good too that they share this with this person and all of that as well. If you can put them on your website, that's wonderful. If you can
Yes.
put it on your newsletter, we just want to take our donors for June. You want to name them, you don't have to say put their full name, you can put their first name and then their last name can be the initials because some people they don't want people to start soliciting them for
Exactly.
no reason. So you can just use different ideas and strategies like that. And then also ask your donors, like once people start giving, how do you want to be thanked? How do you want to be recognized?
I
Like
love it.
asking does not go, you cannot go wrong with asking. Because again, some people might like recognition. Some people just want thank you. They just want the letter. They just want the note. They just want the voice note, the video to say thank you. Or they would just want to see the impact. They want to say, because of you, this life is changed for good. And that's all that matters to them, a sense of significance. And so once you do that, the possibilities are endless for you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Motala. Wow, wow, wow. It's been a night of soaking in so much wisdom from Dr. Motala the Great. Just quickly, just before we call it a night, I would want to mention that Dr. Motala is one of our faculty members within the Social Innovation School. And if you are not on board the Social Innovation School, what are you doing? We have a lot of our community members. I can see a lot. Elanza from South Africa is in the school, and you ought to. If I almost feel like sharing a testimonial. She's still undergoing some of the courses, but already it's making such a powerful transformation within our life and the impact work that she does. So I'm encouraging you tonight. You've really drunk and soaked in so much wisdom from Dr. Motala, and the more reason you should dive into the resources within the social innovation school. And we're giving it almost for free. The prizes or the course fees are highly discounted, almost for free. The quality of content and experiential learning is 20x what you're investing. So I charge you tonight, having been part of tonight, so taking in all of the wisdom, practical learnings tonight, to make it a point of duty, even if you didn't plan it, let's say in the month of July, as you're stepping into the third quarter, put it in your plan for the quarter.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the learning resources I must be a part of, I must undertake, I would join the social innovation school. And there's just a lot more. It provides you a network of meeting with also other like minds like you within the social innovation space. and you get to interact with funding opportunities. I don't want to say too much. Dr. Motola, in one of the, she's right here, in one of the models, gave us for free resources, funding resources that you can deploy if you're seeking funding opportunities. So there's just a lot you can glean from being part of the Social Innovation School. And here is my own, power chat to you tonight. You have to come on board the Social Innovation School. Also, we have one of our webinar series, which we held, I think, last year, where Dr. Motola delved in deeply into funding. You can also go through our YouTube channel, and you will have access to that. But ahead of that, don't just decide to go for all the things that we're giving out for free. Decide to invest, and what you're investing is so minute, far greater than the learning experience and the immersion that you would encounter. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you, Dr. Motola the Great.
Thank
You've been
you.
very exceptional as always. It's really a great pleasure to always host you, and we're going to host you, at many more editions of the
Mhm.
Social Impact webinar. So I want to, at this juncture, if you want to do a shout out to Dr. Motola, let us appreciate her in the comment section. And really, really, if you want to interact or get to engage with Dr. Motola, share with us some of your communication information through which they can get to engage with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, it has been a pleasure, and I'm always happy to do this. I'm a fan of the Ideation of Africa, and thank you for all that you do for the industry and the people that are in it. So if you would like to get to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram. It's at the Funding Magnet, and so the Funding Magnet, and also I'm also on LinkedIn as well. So you can also follow me. And then if you go to the Funding Magnet on IG, we on the link we actually created like a new research to help you like test the temperature of your organization. So it's like a 10-question thing to ask. Okay, where are you? And then we give you like what you need to do to correct those foundations that may not be strong. And so it's all there free for you, no charge at all. But yes, please, I always love to hear from this community. And also, if you need, we also offer a 15-minute free consultation section. So it's like, you know what, I think I've taken the test. I need to understand what I need to do better. Just say hello to her in the DMs, and then we'll be happy to also give you a free 15-minute consultation since you're coming from Ideation of Africa. We are always happy to serve
Yay!
you. So
Thank you
do that.
so much, Dr. Motola. You
Pleasure.
see, she's one of our faculty members already. She's giving out so much. And that's why we say join the Social Innovation School, join the Ideation of African community so that you can continually have access to a lot of opportunities for social innovators and change makers in Africa. And the way our courses are curated, they are indigenously curated for such a time as this.
Mhm.
They are locally contextual to the needs of our social innovators within this timing. So thank you so much, Dr. Omotola the Great, for
Thank you.
tonight. Thank you all to our amazing community members. Natalia, I see you. Ashimi, Elanzer, Ruth, Shegun, every other team member who joined in, or rather, every community member who joined in tonight. We deeply appreciate you, and we say we look forward to you joining us at the next edition of the Social Impact webinar. One thing you will do for us that we would appreciate is not just to learn, but to put into practical use all the things you have learned. Thankfully, in our next newsletter, we will share with you our the what's it called? The Excel sheet, the worksheet that Dr. Motola curated for you alongside the replay of this webinar. So till next time, we say bye from us at Ideation of Africa. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.